Zel boy army, what is going on? It's your boy Zelonius and my man Ainsley. I've got a spicy friend on Discord with me for this video. King Jamboo, how are you doing?
Very well, mate. Yourself?
Very good. So today is a bit of a bittersweet video somewhat for me. Bitter in the sense of I didn't quite make it, but sweet in the sense of a good friend Jamboo did, so you'll be very happy talking about qualifying, won't you? You'll be very happy to talk about this topic, I imagine, won't you, Jamboo?
Yeah, I think it's about time I had some fortune going my way.
It was nice to see the margins went your way this weekend.
Yeah.
So, we're looking at the qualifying format. This, for anyone who doesn't know, the pro scene this year, at least for now, the qualifying format is this weekend tournaments. You have to play other pros. And if you go 6, or at least this weekend, if you went 6 and 2, so won 6 matches and lost 2 or less, you'd make it to the knockout rounds. And if you won 1 knockout game, you'd make it to the first event, the first Foot Champions Cup, which is the end of November. Don't know the venue yet. Only 22 players from Europe made it, 32 across the world. My Footwiz teammate Jamie made it as well. I was very happy to see. But yeah, Jamboo made it. Just in terms of a quick rundown of mine, I went 1-0, and I was on Discord with Jamboo, and then we matched each other. Fairly close game. Bit frustrated because in the warm-up I won quite comfortably against you when we were playing, and then when it actually mattered you turned it on, didn't you? So
Yeah.
wasn't my fault. That's what Jamboo would say. But it was a bit unfortunate. We were just annoyed to match each other as friends. But matched Jamboo, went 1-1. Then I matched another guy, went 2-1. Matched Dubs, former teammate. Bit annoying again. Dubs is like nearly an event team. Very tight game. Played very well. But Dubs is a very good player and very close to the end. But Dubs won by a few. And then I was 2-0 up in the final game. Like, if you lose 3 games, you're out. I was 2-0 up in the first, after the first leg. In the second leg, I conceded 3 goals. I don't know what I physically could have done differently to defend them. And the guy was a very, very good player. And from there, just played really well in front. So it's quite a frustrating one. But the way I'm basically going to do this video, we're going to look at the qualifying format, talk about some of the pros of it, the cons, what we like, dislike. You've had my little recap of how I did, but I put some tweets out, so I'll just go through the tweets to talk about. So you say, I went 2-3 today, so that is me out. GG's to all my opponents. I was playing awful yesterday, so the day before the qualifying was in a bit of a crisis where I was playing, but I played pretty well during the qualifying. Yeah, you can see, genuinely really happy with how I played today. Things didn't go my way. It's not an excuse. The gameplay was fine for me. I was at the highest level against amazing players. The margins are so tight. You can see a few goals, some of the shots that I thought should be going in didn't, but you play at this level against really good players, it's going to be tough. But didn't have a single game where the connection gameplay was bad today, to be honest, so no excuses at all. This format is perfect in the sense of pros should be playing plus beating pros to make events. However, some things need to change. Many had bad gameplay, we need dedicated servers. That was one of the opinions I had. What do you think about that, Jamboo?
Yeah, I agree. I think we should be playing against other like top players to make the event. But I think the fact that we were sat there for sort of 12 hours on the Saturday, I think it's too much. Like it's.
Well, that's a bit of a separate point, isn't
sort of
it?
level. Like,
yeah.
You just can't keep it up.
It's mentally draining, isn't it? I know some pros are frustrated. They were playing to stay in the tournament late on, feeling they couldn't play at the best of their ability, weren't fresh enough to play properly. But in terms of like my gameplay was genuinely good for the most part. It wasn't perfect. FIFA 19 gameplay connection generally is always a little bit delayed at times, but in terms of what it was pretty good. Whereas I remember on Discord, you had one game, Jamboo, you said it was like 1 or 2 by and you could barely play properly.
It was terrible, and I think that's why when it's these qualifyings, I think we
so much on the line.
Have the dedicated servers. Yeah,
for sure. And like I remember, pro player the book, he was 0-2, managed to bring it back to 5-2, and he matched someone from Saudi Arabia, 1 bar connection. That was him out. I'm not saying
Yeah.
the Saudi Arabian players still had that connection as well. It's bad for both parties, but it's not a fair game. That's kind of a separate point, I guess, to some extent. There's only 32 spots, but 22 of them were for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. How is it reasonable to expect pros to play against people from halfway across the world? I'm assuming you would agree that that's quite an issue with this format.
Yeah, I think we all think it's pretty ridiculous. Like, it's just not. When the gameplay is bad enough as it is, like me and you can have a game and it's delayed. So playing against someone that far away, you're not getting a fair matchup.
Yeah, me and Jamboo probably live 2 to 3 hours away in the car.
Yeah.
I probably live 2 to 3 weeks away in the car from some of the people I could have played this weekend. And yeah, like I said, I didn't go out because of bad gameplay on my front. It was fine, but lots of pros had some really bad gameplay. And this wasn't just excuses pros were making because they lost. There were pros who were winning games. Gorilla qualified comfortably, and he was saying on his tweets how it was such a joke, the connections, etc. Yeah, like I said though, we want to stress, we think this is a better format, at least me and Jamboo do, beating pros rather than just being gold players in weekend league.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to, these are the type of players you'll be playing at the events. I put the spots should be doubled. Far too many incredible players will miss out in this format with only 32 spots. 64 seemed a good fit and gave a platform to many great players plus new ones. So I'm not going to remember all the names, but just a list of players that I can think of top of my head who made Worlds last year. Marcuso and Stefano Pinner, the finalists of PlayStation Worlds last year, are not at the first event. Honey Badger did really well, not at the first event. It's probably more on PlayStation that I can't remember. Dreamer and Crafty both made Worlds on Xbox. Daxa, really talented French players, not there. We could probably list 50 players. I don't see myself as like a top tier pro or anything at the moment, but I see myself as someone who I think probably is good enough to be playing at these events. I can beat good players, and I didn't even come close in this format. 22 spots for Europe. I'm assuming you would agree, Jamboo's just. There's so many players that miss out when it's like that.
We've probably got enough people in the UK that would be good enough to compete, like, let alone the whole of Europe.
Middle East and Africa too.
Yeah.
When there's only 32 spots, I think the split of 22 to Europe, 4 to North America, 4 to South America, 2 to Asia, East Asia and Australia, New Zealand, I thought that was fair. You can't, when there's only that many spots anyway, you can't give Europe 28 and 1 for the other regions or something. I thought 22 out of 32 was reasonable. But last year, it just seemed 64. I don't know if you agree, John. It just seemed to be a good number. It fit. You got most of the big pros, established ones would make it. But then there was enough space for new ones as well.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
And if EA want the pro scene, the pro ecosystem to be a positive one that grows and allows pros to live a good career in this, you need to have enough events, which they seem to be doing. But you also need to be able to make so lots of pros can make these events. When you've only got 32 spots, you're gonna have big names missing out on every event, and it's not like it's a League of Legends where we've got a weekly league that we play in every week. Our E-Prem that's coming, it looks like it's just a one weekend competition.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the events need to be far more. I don't want to use the word accessible. They should be hard to qualify for, but they shouldn't be this hard, I think, would be my point. Yeah. Another note, I'd like to see unlocked accounts with every single player available to anyone playing in these qualifying tournaments. Team advantage, pay to win, isn't right in esports, in my opinion. This isn't me moaning or making an excuse. I out-teamed 4 out of 5 of my opponents today. So, last year I did a Road to Glory, and it was an absolute slog to qualify. This year, got quite a pay-to-win team. I've not spent as money as a lot of pros, but I've grinded draft. Got a really good pack look with that 88 Vieira pull. But yeah, there's only one opponent I played this weekend where I had a worse team. My team's more than good enough to be competing. But there's plenty of pros who can't afford to put the money in. One might not want to put the money in. You shouldn't really have to pay a yearly subscription of 2 to 3 grand just to compete as a pro. And there's probably names who are missing out because of this. Like, so if you look at Tex, for example, if the format had been like it was this year, Tex had to play at the team he had last year, there's a good chance he wouldn't have qualified last year and then gone when he went on to win the first event. Now that obviously plays the F2 and he's a big name, he can afford to put money into his account. He's got a great team. He absolutely smashed this week's qualifying. He went 8-0. But there's not going to be many people who are going to make the event on. Well, it's like your team, Jamboo, to be fair, isn't even that bad. Like, it's worth quite a bit, and you put a fair bit in, not a ridiculous amount, and you were still massively out-teamed by a lot of people, weren't you?
Yeah.
So I know Arno and Ray was talking about this, but would you agree unlocked accounts would be fair for these type of events?
Yeah, I think it has to be an even playing field. Otherwise, it just sort of takes away what an e-sport is. I can't really think of any others that are this pay to win.
As far as I'm aware, this would be by far the worst for it. I can accept that it's a business, it's a model that's worked for you. Let people help use their own team for weekend league, for rivals, all that. But for the actual qualifying, if you've proved you're good enough to get there, I think it should be everyone gets to use every player. And I'd go as far to say that people qualified for events might be a fair bit different. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Worst part was matching my best friend in the team, West End Jamboo. What was a close game? He was 4. When I wrote this, he was 4-1. So that basically just said, "What unlucky for me this weekend. Need to improve, get better for future ones." But you raised the point I did, but actually just how long it took.
Yeah.
I only played in about half the tournament because I went out. Not really early, but a lot earlier than you. And I was there for at least 8 hours.
I was there for, I think it was like 10 hours on the Saturday, and then like another 6, 7, 8 hours on the Sunday.
It was like 1 o'clock and you didn't find out you'd qualified till about 8, I think.
Yeah, it was getting on. Yeah.
The admins who run it from Battlefly just didn't seem to understand FIFA. They didn't seem to understand the game. It just felt like they'd been given the job. And to be fair, the site itself was pretty good. I think you'd agree, like Jamboo. When you checked in, it worked.
Yeah,
there was report scoring, getting your next fixture sorted out. But if you had an issue, the admins didn't seem to understand the game and questioning about it. And they would say, "Oh, there's an hour and a half for this round. After an hour and a half, we'll have the next game." And then about an hour and 12 minutes in, I'm saying that as in that's literally what it was in one of them. So there should have been another 20 minutes till the next game, according to what they'd said before. It just said your next match is ready, and you only had 10 minutes to check in. So if you'd have been relying on the fact it was the hour and a half like they'd told you, you'd have missed the game and got a forfeit.
Yeah.
These are general thoughts about it. If they can make, for me, if they make it dedicated servers, unlocked accounts at 64 spots, it would be about as good a system as we could get. I think. What do you think, Jamboo?
Yeah, I think the same. Dedicated servers, more spots. Trying to think. Yeah, because if they added more spots, then the tournament, the qualifying wouldn't take anywhere near as long, would it?
No, but maybe another point, they need to maybe make it hard to get to this tournament. On PlayStation, there was 333 players playing in their qualified tournament. This is 2 weekends in. How many people are going to be verified in 2 months?
Yeah, you're going to end up having like 1,000 people in, aren't you?
Yes, they need to come up with a way of sorting that out. I don't really have a proper suggestion for that. But yeah, those are the thoughts on the qualifying boys. Hope you enjoyed that. If you've not watched my stream yet, check out my stream in the link below. Thank you for all the support of the channel recently. Massively appreciate it. Keep it spicy.